Hello everybody and welcome to episode 9 of Unpopular Opinion. I'm your host without a mask today, Mika Gatt. I got Mr. Kyle Pucci, also without a mask on my right, 6 feet apart of course, and Ayush on my left, also without a mask. Before we start with the show, I want to give a very special shout out to Mr. Kyle Pucci for his commitment to Southern Maine Community College. Congratulations, Mr. Pucci. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gonna do some big things over there.
Yes, sir.
All right, so today, we got a really big show, really exciting show. So on Wednesday was the NBA draft. A lot of good things happened, a lot of bad things happened, but you guys know that we are going to be talking about it. All right, so let's start off with the biggest bust this year in the draft. All right, any ideas? How you started off?
I have to go with Jalen Smith of the Suns, who they took with the 10th pick. He's probably going to be their backup center because they already have DeAndre Ayton. They already have Aaron Baines from last year too.
Oh.
So there's a good chance he doesn't even make this second lineup.
Yeah.
So his only chance to play might be through injury, and that's just going to be a wasted 10th pick. I think they could have gotten someone else, like a good wing defender instead.
Maybe. Kyle, what do you think?
My biggest bust is LaMelo Ball.
Really?
Yeah,
he was projected the #1 player in the draft.
I don't care. So was Anthony Bennett. Where is he now? Like, you know,
he's in a retirement home.
That Ball family is just not. They're not what the NBA is. All right, like his fitting style does not fit in the league today. All right, like
I gotta disagree with you, Kyle.
Yeah, of course you disagree.
Dude, he is
surprise.
Dude, he easily has the most upside of any prospect in this draft, and I don't think it's close. Yes, he does.
He doesn't. It's just
he's
not
the only
true.
player that can pass, rebound, and score effectively. Like Anthony Edwards is only a scorer. Wiseman's an okay defender. Like LaMelo proves on defense, he could easily be the best.
What if Wiseman improves on defense?
I just don't think it's gonna happen. He has no lower body strength.
I don't think that will happen either with LaMelo Ball.
He's no lower body strength.
It doesn't matter about Wiseman. Wiseman has a supporting cast.
He does.
Who does LaMelo Ball have? He has. Who's the guy from Charlotte? Devontae Graham.
Devontae Graham.
Please, just
get
this freaking family out of my face, please. All right, I'm sick of hearing about Lonzo. I'm sick of hearing about this freaking threesome.
What about LeVar Ball?
He sucks. He's a tool. I hate LeVar Ball.
Okay.
No, the point is, all right, like. What happened to Lonzo? He drafted by the Lakers. What Magic Johnson? We're gonna graduate his number into the rafters. He's gonna be better than me.
LaMelo is better than Lonzo. Lonzo can't shoot.
Doesn't say much. I'm better than Lonzo at this point.
Pucci, you're not better than half the freshmen at the school.
If I shoot from the other side of my face when I'm a righty,
dude, Lonzo's a better shooter than you with that form.
Like he's better than. First, I'm better than you.
No, you're not. Okay,
whatever.
you've never beaten me in one.
You know what? I'm gonna relax, guys.
Relax.
Relax. This is only the beginning of the show. Relax. You know what? I'm just gonna go with my bust. As a famous host, Mr. Stephen A. Smith, said about the New York Knicks. Damn, those Knicks. They selected another power forward, Mr. Obi Toppin, to go along with Julius Randle and the entire rest of the Knicks, who apparently have 5 power forwards starting on their starting lineup. So when you talk about biggest bust, Obi Toppin is a very skilled player, but come on, how many power forwards can a team have?
Yeah, you can't.
Come on.
Good point.
I listened to Stephen A. Smith on Twitter just being depressed about it. He was so mad. He was so mad.
Good one.
All right, next question. Best team in the draft. Who had the best draft as a team? Kyle, you go first.
Golden State had the best draft. James Wiseman. Now, since they have James Wiseman, they can go with either small ball, Draymond Green. I know they don't have Clay anymore, but you know what? They just traded for Kelly Oubre, in case you guys didn't know. So now they have.
Is it official?
Yes, it is. They still have Steph. They have. Andrew Wiggins is all right. They still have Kelly Oubre. Then they have Draymond. They could play small ball, and I believe that Wiseman will be good with them because he's not being. I don't think he's being asked to do too much. Like I think he'll improve his defense mainly because they have so much firepower scoring-wise, and so he'll be asked to get better at defense while he's still a threat offensively. He offers a lot to Golden State.
Ayush, what do you think? Who had the best
I have the Charlotte Hornets because I do believe LaMelo will be the best player from this draft. Not only that, but in the second round, they got Vernon Carey Jr., the center from Duke, who was a projected first-round pick before he went to Duke, and
Once we see each other in 5 years, they're going to get blood by this take so hard.
And then not only that, with their last pick, they drafted Grant Riller, I believe. If he turns out to be a good point guard, they can get rid of Terry Rozier's overinflated contract. I mean, they're paying him to be backup point guard for $20 million a year, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, he's horrible.
So if that turns out well, then they get rid of Terry Rozier, and I think that would probably be the best draft.
I agree, but you guys are saying, I mean, it was undeniable that it was Anthony Edwards, LaMelo Ball, and James Wiseman for the best 3 players in the draft. But I'm looking back 2 years ago. I think the best player of the draft 2 years ago was a man named Luka Doncic, who came out and he surprised a lot of people on 5th overall. So what happened this year? An Israeli brethren of mine, Mr. Denny, I think his last name is, I'm going to mispronounce, I think it's Avija or Avila. He went to the Washington Wizards to partner along with Bradley Beal and hopefully a healthy John Wall. I mean, I'm not saying that team is going to be necessarily, that's not the piece that's going to put him over the top, but that piece makes him a playoff contender. If John Wall stays healthy, they don't miss the playoffs with those 3. I don't see it.
Well, they also don't go anywhere either.
But they'll make the playoffs.
I think the maximum they get is the 8th seed. I don't think they're better than any of the top 7 teams in the East.
We'll get there in a second. We're about to talk about free agency and NFL trades. But last thing we talk about before we move on from the draft, who had the worst draft night? I know who you're going to say, so I'm going to start off with you. Who had the worst draft?
It's the Celtics. So. First of all, they entered this offseason with 0 plans. They have no plan for a big man. They don't even try to get Gordon Hayward to sign. So now he just walks away. He's an unrestricted free agent, and we have no chance of getting Miles Turner anymore.
Kyle, you can respond to this. Go ahead.
And then we drafted 2 point guards, even though that's basically the one position that we really don't need.
We got an Israeli point guard. Oh no, he was not the point guard.
No, we got him we got a second round Israeli point guard. And then we got Aaron Nesmith, who's a pure shooter, and we didn't even try to get a big man. We didn't even try to get a bench scorer. We didn't even try to get a playmaker. We didn't fill any of our top 3 needs in the draft or this offseason.
Kyle?
All right, well, responding to your Celtics point, Aaron Nesmith is actually a good pick.
Kyle, who were the top 2 shooters last year in the draft? Cam Johnson and Cam Reddish.
Okay.
Both of them shot over 45% for 3 in college.
Did they shoot 52%?
They shot like 5% worse. So let's not make that such a big difference, okay?
He averaged 23 a game, made 4 threes a game while shooting 52%.
Cam Reddish was what? The top 5 pick? Cam Johnson top.
Okay, and Cam Reddish was also
he went to the Hawks, so I don't know.
Cam Reddish was playing with Zion Williamson and all those guys.
And RJ Barrett. Yeah, RJ Barrett.
He was always overrated.
Who did Aaron Nesmith play agaest though? Like he didn't
Vanderbilt's Division 1. It's not like the Patriots.
Yeah, it's Division 1, but it's not like top tier college talent.
Cam Reddish was playing with like the 5 best players in college basketball.
Dude, but those were the 2 pure shooters from the draft. Now Cam Reddish is shooting 35% from the field.
Ayush, go back 2 years
Cam Johnson's shooting 33%.
There was a guy named Trae Young 2 years ago who literally came out of the draft known just as a shooter.
He wasn't. Yeah, Trae Young was the best scorer in that draft coming out of college.
Best scorer, but he was not a top 3 pick. He was not a top 3 pick.
Yeah, he was. He was 3rd to Atlanta, wasn't he?
He was drafted. I think he was 5th, and then he switched.
So Luka was 3rd.
Right. Yeah,
Luka was 3rd.
Yeah. So he wasn't even a top 3 pick, and he's such a good player. He's the best player from that draft.
No, he's not. It's Luka. You think
between it's probably Luka. Kyle, who had the worst draft?
Chicago Bulls had the worst draft. It's just like they took a player that wasn't even projected to be in the top 10, and they had the 4th overall pick. Like, if you guys heard the owner talk after the draft on why they selected him, he's like, "Oh, Patrick Williams is a 3-and-D guy. We need him as a small forward." You know, like, all right. Speaking of him again, if you need a 3-and-D guy, why don't you just take Aaron Smith? He was the best.
Because he's not a good defender. Aaron Nesmith can't defend the ball. He doesn't have good handles. He can't pass the ball. He can't create his own shot. His only qualities is he's a good 3-point shooter.
He can't create his own shot, but he's a catch-and-shoot player.
Yeah, catch-and-shoot doesn't mean he can't create your own shots. That means he's coming off picks and then getting a catch-and-shoot ball.
It doesn't always mean it.
Yes, it does.
Picks. No, it doesn't.
It's a catch-and-shoot player. Doesn't mean you're creating your own shot.
The point is the Bulls took a 4th overall pick with a person who wasn't even projected to be in the top 10.
But don't you think that's going to help the Celtics shooting pure shooters?
He'll be our 5th option best.
Really?
He's not going to be.
Is he going to be better than Daniel Tice?
Well, okay, Daniel Tice is off. That's
you said fifth. No. You said 5th.
Yeah,
I mean, Daniel Tice.
I could also think Marcus Smart might average more points than Nesmith this year.
Okay, I will agree with you on one point. The Celtics better do something in the offseason about a big man. All right, doesn't look too good right now. You guys know how I feel about the big man. I know it's stupid.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. All right, well, speaking of that, let's move on from the NBA draft. Oh, well, I mean, I didn't say my prediction. I agreed with Kyle. I mean, he won 6th man of the year. He wasn't even a starter. Come on, from Florida State too. Like,
yeah.
Regardless. All right. Second thing is the NBA trades. They haven't. I think today is when the NBA season becomes official. 6 p.m. tonight.
Yes.
That's when the all trades become official. But what is the best and the worst trade so far of this proposed season? Ayush, go ahead.
My worst trade is the Thunder giving Dennis Schroeder to the Lakers for Danny Green. I don't see the value in that trade.
I mean, Danny Green's now in Philadelphia, remember, for Josh Richardson.
Yeah, but it was still a stupid
It was
trade.
stupid at the time.
Of course.
Dennis Schroeder is miles above Danny Green. He's younger, he's more talented, he's a better scorer. Danny Green has shown that his shooting was awful in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And I just didn't see the value doing that trade. The only way I saw it was Dennis Schroeder was going to ask for a lot of money next year, but I'd rather have 1 year of Dennis Schroeder than Danny Green.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see the point of that trade. And then my best trade is going to be the Suns trading Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio for Chris Paul.
Ooh,
that's a
yeah,
good one.
I forgot about that one.
Because, I mean, Kelly Oubre and Ricky Rubio are, at best, decent role players. And now you got Chris Paul, Booker, and Aiden leading the Suns. And that could be a playoff team. And I think the last time they made the playoffs might have been with, like, Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, right?
I think they made it maybe a couple years ago.
But
when they actually had
playoff
May have
matches,
been with those players.
Because Devin Booker is probably maybe him and Luka and Tatum are the top 3 young talents in the league. Chris Paul can actually, now they got another scorer and a playmaker. And Aiden was suspended for 30 games last year, so if he comes back and doesn't get hurt or suspended,
Paul's a great leader too. So
Yeah.
like he can, like you said about him, like he took the Thunder to the playoffs. No one thought they'd be. A lot of people thought they would be like the last seed in the West, and he ended up taking them to they have 4th seed, 5th
Yeah.
seed.
5 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were really good.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So Kyle, who do you think best and worst team so far in the trades?
Well, I have to agree with Ayush on the
Both of
Dennis
them.
Schroeder trade.
No,
well,
okay, that
well,
one,
not
yeah.
in the. No, I have a different for best one, but the worst. It was easily Dennis Schroeder. I mean, come on. Like Danny Green is not. What do you even when Danny Green was in his prime? I thought Dennis Schroeder got robbed of 6th man of the year
This year, yeah.
I loves me some Montrezl Harrell, but Schroeder should have been the he should have been the 6th man of the year. And like, what was the best trade? In fact, now I have to go to the Lakers. Lakers made the best trade. You know why? Because they somehow managed to get freaking Dennis Schroeder for Danny Green. Like, I don't know how that worked, but they somehow pulled it off, and now they have arguably the best 6th man coming off their bench with LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Right,
That makes them way better.
I agree with those points. You know, I forgot to mention earlier in the segment why Ayush hates Neesmith so much. Who went pick after Neesmith, Ayush?
Dude, I would have been fine if we took Cole Anthony,
So, okay,
Tyrese
all right,
Maxey. There's so
relax,
many
relax,
better players
relax,
available, and
relax.
we took Aaron
Ayush
Neesmith.
is a die-hard UNC fan. So when Cole Anthony was sitting there and we didn't take Cole Anthony, he wasn't too happy.
He's such a UNC bobo. It's unbelievable.
Dude, even Tyrese Maxey would have been a better pick out of Kentucky. He's a better.
Oh, he's in Philly now.
Yeah, that was Tyrese Maxey would have been a better pick. They're both very good scorers, and Aaron.
All right. Well, that was that. I just wanted to throw that in there. All right, but the point is, my best trade. You guys didn't say this. Drew Holiday to Milwaukee.
How did I forget about that?
It's very underrated because Giannis.
God.
If you're Giannis Antetokounmpo, you don't want to stay in a super small market team when you have Chris Middleton over there, and maybe Bledsoe has a good game, maybe Brook Lopez has a good game, but it's like you want consistency.
Yeah.
And they gave up aging George Hill, and they gave up Bledsoe and a couple picks for Drew Holiday, who I think after that I was listening to some reports that Giannis is like, I really don't see me leaving Milwaukee. And that's huge for the Bucks. Because that just, maybe not necessarily right now they have the cap space to go all in, but they can give him the supermax, and then they can see what they can do after that.
I do love their big 3 now of Giannis,
Chris Middleton and Holiday.
That's incredible.
It's going to be fun to watch them
firepower,
versus
man.
Brooklyn this year.
Well, because Drew Holiday's first team all defense. If you're just saying, they don't have an answer for Kyrie, no, not true.
Yeah.
Like, you can stick him on him and hopefully contain it.
Well, in case this happens and we don't talk about it on the show, if James Harden somehow finds a way over to Brooklyn because he doesn't want to be in Houston right now, y'all know this, that might be the best trade because maybe they need.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I think it'd be the worst trade.
No,
Really?
Yes, the worst trade.
Harden's only going to Brooklyn because the Houston's come in and said we're only going to give you Harden if you get Kyrie or KD in return. And I don't think that's going to happen because Brooklyn's plan is Kyrie and KD.
Well,
it's just icing on the cake if they get Harden.
Well, even if they get Harden, they're going to have to give up their whole future of like role players, and just let's be honest,
doesn't make sense to
Harden
make
and
that trade.
Kyrie is not going to work.
No,
if they're going to play with 2 basketballs in a game, maybe it will work.
I have my doubts right now with Kyrie and KD. You add Harden into that team's just going to implode on themselves.
I mean, Kyrie is already a freaking mess, and then if you add Harden into that, oh god, that's going to be horrible. You can't do that.
I also got to disagree with Giannis staying in Milwaukee because I think he waits it out for this year and see how it goes. If they don't make it to the finals this year, I don't see him staying in Milwaukee.
I mean, if they play Brooklyn in the playoffs, who's better, Kevin Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Kevin Durant.
So it's not that like he
No,
doesn't
but,
make
like,
the
if
finals.
You can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to come back to the team." It's like everyone's going to say they're going to go back. It's like, what is he going to say? "Oh, I'm going to leave after this year." Like, you can't.
Oh, you
say
can't
that.
say that. But I want to say my worst trade. Agree with both of you. I mean, I was gonna say Josh Richardson for Danny Green. That one was kind of bad. I don't know.
Horford.
What?
That was a decent trade for both teams.
That was Horford.
Yes.
That's a good trade for Al Horford. But yeah, it's the Jenner Schroeder. Come on, that's literally who the Lakers needed. Can we please get
freaking
Rajon Rondo?
Green.
Can we get Rajon Rondo?
We have $4 million in cap space. The best we can do is sign someone for the veteran minimum.
Yeah, thanks to freaking
Miles
Hayward,
Turner.
we still have to. We don't get any clear cap space.
Yeah, well, he opted out and it made it. Anything else you guys want to say about basketball? Because this is our last show in November. We're not filming a show next week, so we're going to be back in 2 weeks. Anything else before we move on to the NFL? Anything else?
I got nothing.
All right. Well, it should be fun because they said the NBA season starting up December 22nd. So you guys are going to tune in and get ready. All right. So our last segment of the day, and we might do, if we have an extra time, we might do some predictions. Contenders or pretenders? I'm going to name some teams, and I want to know, is this team a contender or is this team a pretender? All right. Let's start off with the Seattle Seahawks, who last night beat the Arizona Cardinals to take first place in the NFC West. They won by 7 points. Ayush, you're up first.
I'm going to say contenders. This was the first time their defense didn't look like they were giving up free yards every single play. Obviously, they left Chase Edmonds open for a touchdown. Like, there was all by himself on one side of the field.
Geno Atkins won them the game.
No,
Give him
Carlos
some-
Dunlap.
Carlos Dunlap.
That's what I was going to say. Carlos Dunlap had 2 sacks. This was his second game playing, I believe, after he got traded from Cincinnati. I think he could add it. He won't be consistent pass rush, but it could be a somewhat effective pass rush for the Seahawks. That secondary is still very not good. Like they're burnt toast basically at this
You mean
point.
Blitzboy? Blitzboy and
Like-
Jamal Adams?
Jamal Adams is good, but he's not going to fix all their problems. He's not the greatest coverage safety.
You saw he
Yeah.
got his ankles broken by Kyler Murray yesterday.
Yeah, like he's
really funny.
a
It's really
great
Turns
like
into a lead blocker.
he's kind of like a Cam Chancellor type.
Earl
More of a
Thomas type.
And then, but I think their defense can hold the offense like the Arizona's 21 points. Russell Wilson will give them a chance to win every single game.
Absolutely. Kyle, what do you think? Contenders or
Alright, so
pretenders?
I completely disagree with you. I think the Seahawks are 100% pretenders because, you know what, that defense was an aberration game. All right, they've had one. That was literally their first good game of the year. All right, like Cam Newton and freaking who's the other guy who threw for like 400? Someone
Dak
else.
Prescott?
Yes, or no, like even some other.
Josh Allen?
I forget. Yes, Josh Allen.
I got them all, Kyle.
Josh Allen looked like Brett Favre against the Seahawks.
Oh, you told me about that.
He's not. Josh Allen is not good. Cam Newton doesn't have very good receivers. We all know how I feel about that. And the fact that they allowed 400 yards to Cam Newton in the horrible Patriots offense.
I agree with you that their secondary's bad. Kyler missed Hopkins wide open a couple times.
Yeah. I had
Oh, good
DeAndre on
point.
fantasy,
Hopkins
so.
was toasting them downfield, and
Yeah.
Kyler just decided to not throw an accurate pass yesterday. And that game was an aberration. Russell Wilson won't be able to just carry every. If he doesn't have a perfect game, they lose. Except yesterday when they drop passes and Kyler Murray just decides not to throw the football well.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm actually agreeing with Kyle on that because I think yesterday was kind of a fluke in Seattle on a short week. It's really tough to see a team go into especially like there's no fans in Seattle, but that's just a really tough game. At the end of the day, that's a tough game, and come on, Russell Wilson he's so inconsistent.
I wouldn't say inconsistent. He just has too much pressure on him.
He has 10 picks on the season.
Dude, he's been asking to do too much.
Yeah, but you know what?
Not
He said
throw
he-
interceptions?
Yeah, but he said he's the best quarterback in football before
Yeah.
the season. So you have.
We
no
were here
excuse
talking
there.
a couple weeks ago about who's going to win MVP, and it's not Russell Wilson anymore.
No, he's eliminated from my race. I had him as the runaway for about 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And no, I can't.
It's
defend
Mahomes
it.
or Rodgers right now. It's one of the two. Probably
think
Mahomes.
It's Mahomes.
Yeah,
It's
Mahomes.
Mahomes. But it's too early to call. All right,
No,
next
it's
team. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Pretenders, contenders. Kyle?
All right, I have the Steelers as contenders. Believe it or not, this is the first year they actually have a good defense. Did you guys know that Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season?
Really?
Did
Yeah.
14,
Oh, yeah, I saw that,
14
yep.
seasons in
14
Pittsburgh,
seasons.
never had a losing season, and that's when he had 3 backup quarterbacks last year. He was on his third-string quarterback, and he somehow went 2-1 with a third-string quarterback. Now they have a defense. Big Ben's playing at a high. Big Ben is under the radar, entered the MVP race according to the NFL. And
Really
and
under
that's-
the radar, though.
they still have offensive weapons, and now they have a defense. I know they haven't played particularly that well in the past 2 weeks, but you know what? They're 9-0 for a reason, and not every team is just going to kill everybody convincingly.
course.
They're for real this time.
Okay. Ayush, what do you think?
I'm gonna say contenders just because they haven't lost, and that's all that matters. Like their record is 9-0. They have a lot. I think they have a lot of holes because their offense is inconsistent at times. I mean, Dallas should not have, and Pittsburgh should not have been that close of a game. Like, especially with Gary Gilbert as their starter. And then there was
Definitely.
definitely some questionable calls that helped the Steelers at the end of the game.
Oh, that was questionable.
There was
I'll
a lot
agree
of
with that one.
Yeah, so
there's
there's some problems with the Steelers, but that's to say they're contenders.
I mean, I would say contenders, but I could see pretenders because I don't see them beating Kansas City. That's just not going to happen. They're not going to beat Kansas City.
if it's in Pittsburgh, I think they have a chance.
I think Baltimore should have beat him when they played him because Lamar had 4 turnovers.
Yeah, but Big Ben has a lot of his big games against the Chiefs. Don't remember they went to Patrick Mahomes in the first year of his career. They beat him.
No, they lost.
They
No, they
lost.
lost.
They lost.
Mahomes, that was Mahomes' 6 touchdown
They still
game.
came with
Yeah.
one score. That's when Pittsburgh didn't have a defense.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Like now they actually have a pass rush. Mahomes is not very good against a good pass rush. We've seen that.
All right, 3 more teams. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, they're pretenders. Absolute pretenders.
Go ahead, Ayush, explain.
Bruce Arians is like his game plan has been awful for a couple of weeks. Like the Panthers put what 30 points on them this week.
Yeah,
Okay, the Panthers.
And how many did the Saints put on them 2 weeks ago? Kyle? At Kyle.
Especially that Saints game on Sunday night.
How many of the Bucks put on you actually? Good.
I don't play
All right.
for the Packers. I'm just a fan.
Oh,
No,
whatever.
but they showed up to that Saints game. They looked like they didn't even belong on the same field as the Saints.
They just didn't come out prepared.
They didn't
all
come
right?
out prepared. That's completely on coaching. I don't think Bruce Arians is going to have them ready in the playoffs to face these teams. I think that's the difference between Bruce Arians and Bill Belichick. Tom Brady's really good, but I don't think he's going to be good enough to get them over that hump
Kyle, what do you
without Bill
think?
Belichick.
Well, I think they're contenders because I believe they'll get their defensive struggles together. They have too much firepower on offense to not be. And I know they played a horrible game How they look last week? How Tom Brady's receivers look last week? They look good. I thought they looked good. 46 points.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say
Panthers
much
don't
going
have
against
a good
Carolina.
defense.
Okay,
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes put up 33. Brady put up 46 on that defense.
Okay, but Mahomes, we also had 200-yard rusher in Ronald Jones. Like, that's a lot of
Okay, well,
help.
Brady still threw for 300.
Yeah, I'm not taking away from
it's
Brady,
whatever,
but,
but Brady is always going to give your playoff team a chance. He will. He's proved it time and time again.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to actually have to agree with Kyle on the Buccaneers for contenders only because
They beat the Packers
Drew Brees,
38-10.
Because Drew Brees is injured. that doesn't mean anything. Because Drew Brees is gone now, they're fighting for a wild card spot, but they still have a shot for their division. Taysom Hill was just announced to be the quarterback of that team. I mean, they play Atlanta this week. I'm not sure who they play next week, but I don't
think
know.
they have enough talent to beat Atlanta. I mean,
They'll
Probably.
probably beat Atlanta.
But it's going to be close because Taysom Hill not necessarily have the arm strength or the accuracy or precision that Drew Brees will carry.
if they can get the ball to Kamara in open space, they should be fine.
So, you know what? I don't care that Drew Brees is injured, all right? He chokes every year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right, what does it matter at this point?
Okay.
They never win even with him.
All right, 2 more teams. Arizona Cardinals. I'm saving the best for last. Arizona Cardinals.
right.
Ayush, go ahead.
Pretenders.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a lucky win against Buffalo to start it off.
yeah.
It was an
Yeah.
amazing play.
I mean, are you sure you're sure?
It was an
I don't know. I
amazing play.
think,
Like,
I think,
everything
I think
about
the Hail Mary's supposed to be
everything
caught.
about that play was awesome. Like the throw, the catch, but like it was a very lucky win. Their defense let Buffalo march right down the field when it mattered the most.
Yeah,
And then
they did.
Stephon Diggs got burnt Patrick Peterson, their best corner, got burnt by Stephon Diggs.
Oh, on that last
On that
he
touchdown.
got toasted
Yeah.
on that play.
And then I just don't think especially with that loss, now they're going to have to go. They're playing in New England next week, which will be a tough game. They should win, but it will definitely be a tough game. And I don't know. I don't think if they lose next week, I don't see them. They might not even make the playoffs.
Kyle, what do you think?
I think they're pretenders. I don't even think it's that fair of a statement because they have a second-year quarterback, and they just don't have enough pieces yet. I believe in a couple of years they could be a legit because I think Kyler Murray will only get better. So I
Don't
think
sleep on Isaiah Simmons too.
Oh yeah, they also
that's really good.
Chandler Jones is injured right now too. Who's
Really?
led the league in
Oh, wow,
sacks
I
for
didn't know
a
that.
ton of years now. So
didn't know that.
who knows? Maybe if he comes back, he'll do something. You never know.
Yeah, I agree. Arizona has to be a pretender. I mean, if anything, they were going to make the wild card, but I don't see them beating some of the other
They're also
teams
in a
the
really hard division though,
Absolutely.
so keep that.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
hand.
I actually think the Rams win that division.
Ooh,
Sure.
I
Because
don't know about
the Rams
that.
still have to play Arizona twice.
I don't know.
They haven't
Jared
played them
Goff
yet.
and up will give them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
a
I want to
chance
see. I want to see
win.
how they play against Seattle next time they meet up because Tyler Lockett Tyler Lockett had a good game against the Rams, not DK Metcalf. All right, last team, and I lost my cool last time. I'm gonna relax this time and breathe.
Oh no, you won't.
The
Let's hear me.
the Green Bay Packers. Go ahead, Ayush. Pretenders or contenders?
You always go first. So whatever.
I'll go contenders.
Thank you.
Just because there's a good chance they can get the number one seed in the NFC.
Yeah, if they get a bye week.
Because right now, if Tampa Bay doesn't win the division, they'll have the tiebreaker of New Orleans. if Green Bay loses another game and they're tied with Tampa and Tampa somehow gets the 1 seed, I don't think Green Bay has any shot of doing anything in the playoffs if they don't have the 1 seed. Like that's what I'm basing my prediction on.
All right, Kyle.
Wrong answer. Pretenders are the Green Bay Packers, all right? They have nothing but Aaron Rodgers. Their defense still sucks, all right? All they have on their receiving core is Devontae Adams. I know they have Aaron Jones. I love Aaron Jones.
You know Alan Lazard is coming back this week, right?
Who cares about Alan Lazard?
If they can beat Indianapolis,
169 yards and a touchdown.
They can
against
beat
New Orleans.
Who cares?
Dude, if they beat Indianapolis, in Indiana this week, then
okay, fine. Then I'll give you a good.
agree,
Okay,
yeah.
they also almost lost to Jacksonville at home to
That's
some guy.
true.
What was their
Jake
that
Luton.
quarterback's
Jake Luton.
who the hell was Jake Luton?
Sixth round. He's a rookie 6th-round pick this year.
I just don't know.
Yeah,
who
Kyle,
that guy
I agree.
is.
They're very inconsistent. As a Packers fan, they are very, very inconsistent. If they go into Indianapolis, and because that's going to be on primetime TV, that's Troy Aikman, Joe Buck. If they can win that game, maybe they are.
I'm
contenders.
definitely rooting for Green Bay this week because if Indiana lost, we're only 1 game behind Indiana for the 7th seed, I believe.
Just give up already, please.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for our first ever outdoor no mask show, and it's been a lot of fun. First, very special thank you for a special Thanksgiving episode today. I mean, it's outside. I don't know how much we're gonna get of this weather until the spring, but as always, up here, I don't know if we can put it up here, info@dsctv.com for any questions, for any special guests you want to see, for any jerseys, because I mean, I don't see any jerseys here, but I mean, we're outside. We don't have masks, which is also nice because you can see our mouths moving, which is also, I think that's also good and a little bit a different type of show, which is a lot of fun. But we will be back in 2 weeks to talk a lot about football because definitely a lot is going to change about football. I think there's going to be a lot of other sports. We might start getting a little bit more guests on. We've been a little bit back and forth, but I hope you guys have enjoyed the first couple of episodes. Today was episode 9. So
maybe we'll know a little more about the NBA too
awesome.
in a couple weeks.
Yeah, great job for the first couple of months on the show. Episode 9's in the book. Episode 10 is starting up in December. I hope everybody at home has a wonderful Thanksgiving and a wonderful rest of your February. Thank you guys one last time in the month of November for tuning in. I'm Mika Gatt. I'll see you back here. We'll all see you back here in 2 weeks.